Hi there, this is David and welcome to New RPG News. I am currently coming to you from the Cayman Islands. So, I'm on board a cruise ship. If my background looks anything different, that is why, but there's so many exciting things going on right now with RPGs and everything. I couldn't leave y'all in the lurch. I just had to come to y'all and talk about all the things that we have going on, from a Legend of Zelda movie to some new games coming out to Final Fantasy IX Remake. All of that is coming up today. Let's all talk about it right now. First up, we have The Legend of Zelda live action film has been announced. This is being produced by Avi Arad, directed by Wes Ball, and distributed by Sony Pictures. I really liked the Mario movie that came out recently, and my husband Ken, who doesn't play any video games ever, he watched it and he really liked it too, and it just makes sense that, it was such a financial success that they would go on and they would create a Zelda movie. I'm going to imagine if Zelda is successful as well, maybe they'll move on to Pokemon. That's a huge franchise of theirs. Maybe Kirby or Metroid or something like that. I think Metroid would be really cool, like an outer space, alien thing happening and all of that. I think that would be really freaking cool. But I am very excited about this. We don't have any kind of release dates or anything else like that that's going on here. But this just looks very, very cool. I just had to bring this up. And another story in regards to Nintendo that I want to talk about at the same time. It says here that Nintendo will continue to release a new title for the Switch without being bound by the traditional concept of a platform life cycle. This to me makes so much sense. I can't even stand it, and I don't understand why they haven't done this before. I remember when I was a kid, like little children, David. I was 11, 12 years old, something around there, whenever the SNES came out, and I had the Nintendo since I was 5. And we got the SNES. I want to say I begged and pleaded for it when Final Fantasy II came out. My grandparents bought it for me. And it came packed in with Super Mario World and all of that. We got, other games at launch, Pilot Wings and F-Zero and all that kind of stuff. And I remember my brother really, really, really wanted the SNES at the time because he was like, all the great games are going to be coming out for the SNES. And I said to him, why? If we already have a Nintendo, why don't they create Nintendo games and Super Nintendo games? It didn't make sense to me for them to stop making Nintendo games just because the SNES was out. You know what I mean? And they did continue to make Nintendo games all the way up to like 1994. I want to say that Yoshi's Cookie was the last NES game that came out, at least here in America. Then in the early 2000s, Nintendo tried another strategy where they had the third pillar. Do y'all remember this? They had their home console as one pillar. They had the Game Boy Advance as another pillar. Then they had the Nintendo DS as their third pillar, where they were going to release games on them all at the same time, all congruently. But that didn't happen. Game Boy Advance, that went down in the toilet, and it was all DS and all home console. And then I thought it would just make business sense to me, at least, that when the Nintendo Wii sold so many freaking units that, yeah, they might move on to the Wii U, but they should still make games for the Wii, like everybody has a freaking Wii. But they just didn't. They just abandoned the Wii. They had such a huge install base, and so many people still have it hooked up today. I go over to people's houses who never game or whatever, and I go over there for a party, and I see a Wii over there hooked up on their mantle. They still have it, but there's no games to be released on it, and it always was confusing to me, like, why not? Why don't you, still release games for the Wii? And they just never did. So finally, they're getting some sense in the little noggin over there, and they're going to be continually releasing games for the Nintendo Switch, whether or not they still have other consoles coming out. So the Switch is going to have a very, very long life cycle, and I do think that this is a very good, very sound business strategy on their part, one that I cannot believe took this long for them to actually do. We have some new information about Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince and their online features. This is coming out on December 1st, so really soon, and it is, besides Super Mario RPG that's coming out in a week, this is pretty much my last really hotly anticipated game of the year. You all know that I love Dragon Quest. It's my favorite series of all time, and Dragon Quest Monsters is their biggest spin-off that they have of the series, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And this takes place in the world of Dragon Quest IV, but instead of playing as the hero, we actually get to play as the villain. We get to play as Sorrow, so that's really cool. So this is just talking about the various things that you can do online. If you want to go online, you just talk to this guy Fizzy over in Rose Hill Tower. He'll also allow you to purchase online content. You can go through and battle people online. You can visit an online shop where you can purchase talents and other things using in-game currency, not dollars, using gold pieces, the Dragon Quest Gold, thank God. So that's kind of nice. There's also these quickfire contests that they have where essentially you go through and you just kind of like upload your data of like your strongest monsters, and then just like using statistics or whatever, it says like, okay, well, you win, and then you get various prizes for that. For doing that, you can do that once a day, or you could do much more drawn out, involved battles where you can really strategize and you can actually fight against your friends or fight against other people who are online and pick and choose your strategy. So I think that that's really, really neat. So if you just want to go on once a day, do a quick fire, grab some extra points. If you want to buy some talent using the gold that you have, or if you want to battle with your friends, you can do all of that here in Dragon Quest Monsters. And now some Trails news. Falcom is releasing a brand new Trails title in Japan by September of next year. Remember, we still are, I want to say, 2 games behind here in America. Basically, Trails Through Daybreak 1 and 2 are the 2 games that we're behind, but we're getting Trails to Daybreak 1 summer of next year. Then that would just leave us 1 game behind. We're really catching up so fast. Like, we were slow whenever Xseed was dealing with these localizations. My God, they took forever. But Nisa has taken over, and we are flying through these. We got like 4 Trails games last year, I think, something like that. So yeah, we're really, really, really catching up, and eventually we're going to be like neck and neck with Japan. So I don't know. I haven't played the Trails Through Daybreak series. I don't know if this is going to be a Daybreak 3. I really have no idea. Or if they're going to move on to a different area. If they're going to move out of Calvard, maybe move up to like Northumbria or something like that. We don't know where it's going to be taking place, or if it is going to be a sequel to Daybreak 2. We are not aware, but I am certainly looking forward to seeing what is in store for this series over in Japan and where it's going to be taking us to next. We have some Level 5 news. Level 5 Vision 2023-2 is set for November 29th. We're going to be getting all sorts of information regarding their upcoming titles, including release dates on all these games that we heard about. Level 5 is returning to the West. We heard about that a while ago. They got a lot of games on their burners, but nothing has actually yet been released, unfortunately. It is going to be broadcast in English, so we can watch it, and do expect an update from me to you about it. It says we're going to be getting updates on Inazuma 11 Victory Road, Deca Police, Fantasy Life, Megaton Musashi, Professor Layton, and the new world of Steam as well. And speaking of Level 5, we have Part 2 of this story. Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time, has been delayed to 2024. This was going to be coming out this year. It has now been delayed to next year. We do not know when next year. We don't know if it's going to be, quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. We just don't know. But we do know that it's going to be coming out next year. More than likely, we're going to be getting the release date during that Level 5 event that I just talked about, which is going to be Wednesday the 29th. Just remember what Miyamoto famously said, that a rushed game is forever bad, but a delayed game is eventually good. And I personally am probably looking forward to this game the most out of all of their announcements, because I love the Fantasy Life series. It's a great series over on the 3DS and everything, and it's just a whole lot of fun. So again, if it takes a delay, that's fine. I have plenty of other games to play in the meantime. Believe me, I am not running out of games to play, so I'm good. Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters for Switch launches on January 23rd of next year in the West, and there is an Xbox Series teaser trailer as well, because it is coming out for the Xbox as well. But listen up to this. Not only is this game janky AF and pretty terrible, but the different consoles are getting different things together. You're not getting everything like in one game. It's just odd. It says here, the teaser trailer for the Xbox version showcased the swimsuit outfits in-game. These costumes are included with the base game on the Xbox, but they are only available via the digital deluxe edition over on the Switch. Okay, so if you want the swimsuits, you gotta buy the Xbox version. Otherwise, you gotta buy a more expensive version over on the Switch. Then it says over here that the Switch version features Maho and Henri as exclusive playable characters, but they are not playable on the PlayStation, PC, or the Xbox versions. So if you want everything, I guess you have to buy the really expensive Switch version, the digital deluxe version, to get the 2 playable characters as well as the swimsuits. But if it was just me, personally, I would avoid the whole thing entirely because it sucks and play a better game. This looks neat, and I just thought I'd bring it up. Fairroom Fragment Isles has been announced for the PC, due out next year. We don't know when next year. This is, I'm just going to read over the About section right here. It says, where did all the fairies go? Fairroom Fragment Isles is an action-adventure game where you follow Liana through her journey solving mysteries and puzzles from island to island in this kind of like SNES-style graphical thing. Like, it's cool. I like it. I don't know. It's my childhood life. The 3 fairies of Fairroom have gone missing. Oh no! What's happening to this world? Or maybe the more important question is, what's about to happen? Liana and her trusty partner, Ancient Codex, that's her partner, Ancient Codex, whatever, some flying magical book, I don't know, are about to unravel the secrets of Faerun through their travels. An energetic young lady, Machomo, the always calm and cool Chromos, and a mysterious angel. These characters that Liana meet on her way are bound to add some color to her journey. I don't know. It just looked neat. I just thought that I'd bring it up if y'all are interested in this. I don't know. It just reminded me of my childhood, so whatever. King Arthur: A Knight's Tale is being released for the PS5 and Xbox in February 22nd of next year. It is a turn-based strategy RPG. It's currently available over on the Steam right now. It says it's a unique hybrid between turn-based tactical games and traditional character-centric RPGs. It's a modern retelling of the classic Arthurian mythology story filtered through the dark fantasy tropes and a twist on the traditional tales of chivalry, as you are Sir Mordred, the nemesis of King Arthur and the former Black Knight of the Grim Tales. It says you killed King Arthur, but with his dying breath, he struck you down, and you both died, and yet you both live. Fascinating. So, if you already have the PC version, there are some new additions to the console version. It says that there's some graphical options. You can choose between quality mode or performance mode, local player versus player, haptic feedback, and achievements and trophies if you want that. I saw this. I know it's Western, but it's pretty damn cool if you ask me. And now for our final story of the day. This is 2 different stories kind of wrapped up into one, and you'll see where I'm going with this. First up, this is a story from December 31st of 2022, so almost a year ago. This is Katase teasing a big Final Fantasy announcement in this year, 2023. So we're still waiting for whatever this big Final Fantasy announcement is. We don't know, or do we? He says in his, this was a end of the year, New Year's, greeting of 2023, all that kind of stuff. He also says right here, there is also another big announcement unrelated to Final Fantasy VII that I can't say anything about just yet. I wonder, what could that possibly be? Well, Final Fantasy IX Remake stealth release is just around the corner. So we already knew about this from the NVIDIA leak. Everything in that NVIDIA leak came true. We're still waiting on 2 things from it though. The Final Fantasy IX Remake and the Final Fantasy Tactics Remake. We did hear recently that the Final Fantasy Tactics Remake was put on the back burner because of the poor reception of the Tactics Ogre Remake. They were like, maybe they don't want tactical games, or maybe we just don't want classic games remade with a Dark Souls difficulty. Maybe. Or maybe we just want tactics because that's the best one. Hey, I'm just saying. So this comes from renowned Square Enix leaker I Am a Hero 2, who I have reported on multiple times, and everything that he has said has pretty much come true. He's the real deal. He says that the upcoming remake is scheduled to launch at the end of summer 2024. And with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth set to launch earlier that year, fans of the series will be treated to two huge nostalgia products within mere months of each other. And I've got to say, of the two, which one am I looking forward to the most? 7 or 9? 9. Definitely 9. Alongside the tease of the Final Fantasy IX remake, the leaker also teased an upcoming remake of Final Fantasy X, as well as alleged plans for some form of Final Fantasy X-3, whether that could be a new game or some other media follow-up. Personally, and I've said this before, I would love a Final Fantasy X-3 to not talk about Yuna and Tidus and all that, but instead talk about the prequel. Talk about Auron and Braska and Jet, and have them do some sort of like Final Fantasy X-2 dress sphere job-changing thing on their pilgrimage through Spira. I think that would be just really cool. It would be a really cool thing. It'd be a prequel. It would take that dress sphere thing. It would take the job classes together. I think that'd be really neat. I would love that. But it says also right here, I love this. Square Enix has pivoted to re-encapsulate what made the franchise insanely popular almost 2 decades ago. So, they're finally seeing the light and being like, you know what? All these newfangled games that we keep on putting out that everybody says that they don't want and that they don't like, you know what? They're not selling. Maybe they actually don't want them and don't like them. Maybe they want the stuff that made us popular in the first place. What a concept. Yeah, they're finally, getting the picture. So that is very, very happy news to me. And that is it for this week's news. I'm going to leave you with some god-awful karaoke that I did as well on the cruise ship, and I do hope that you enjoy that. And yeah, let me know what you think about the news. Let me know what you think about all the stories, and as always, have a good day.